the best talent gets missed just because their CV isn't written concisely and clearly. This step now is really about where the rubber hits the road. We're going to be crafting your perfect CV so that you can easily get your CV accepted by wherever and whoever it is you're applying to. Because as a recruiter, as a headhunter, I can tell you that resumes come at us all the time. And sometimes the best talent gets missed just because their CV isn't written concisely and clearly, or has too much on it and too many mistakes. So this is going to take you through exactly what to do to craft a clear and concise CV that is professional and that's going to help you open the right doors. So in the next video, there's going to be a template you can download. Let's get started. So here is a sample resume that you can download. It's one that I use here in Tokyo, Japan. So you'll notice that the name, which is fictional, by the way, there's no personal information in this CV. It is not a real person, but this is where your first and last name would go. Do include your contact information and address. It is professional. This is a mobile number, your personal email address. And do be sure to have this something professional. It doesn't have to be like a professional domain, like your own company website. It can be Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. But just make sure it's not something too silly or too wacky that's going to make the viewer giggle or doubt your seriousness as an individual. We see wacky email addresses all the time, and sometimes they are pretty funny. So just consider, are you comfortable with whatever your email address you're using being used, because it will reflect on your professionalism to some extent. So what you see here is a personal statement or an objective. This should be very clear, concise. So here we have results-driven commercial leader with proven track record of developing and executing successful marketing strategies while attracting diverse talent to form a best-in-class team, seeking to leverage dynamic leadership skills in a challenging business unit head position to drive revenue growth and lead cross-functional teams to success. There are a lot of buzzwords in here. These are, however, very relevant to this professional or avatar, so to speak, and what is natural for them in the next step of their career. So to give you some context, in a large healthcare pharmaceutical company, or any large company for that matter, typically a director is going to be looking to go up into a more executive role, which manages directors. And in this case, a commercial leader is someone who drives either marketing and or sales teams. And typically, once they have both marketing and sales experience, then they become qualified to lead a business unit, because they'll be able to ultimately, their responsibility is to manage a P&L, a profit loss. But a prerequisite for that is being able to understand how to coach and develop marketers. You can't do that without having marketing experience, and how to motivate and influence the sales teams. And you can't do that without understanding the day-to-day challenges that sales reps have out in the field, talking to customers, battling objections, escalating complaints, etc. So while this is in a sales and marketing or commercial context, the principles here will be transferable to any senior role in a large corporation. And for a smaller corporation, it'll simply be a more streamlined or leaner organization with more crossover between these management lines. So I hope that gives you some context. You can reflect on your from to as outlined in the previous module so that you can know what to write. This should hint at your from and your to. This 1-2 sentences, the viewer can pick up and size you up, the essence of who you are, where you are now in your career, and where you want to go. Okay, so the next thing we have here under professional experience, this is your career section. So we have, in this case, I've categorized the company name because this is a fictional character, and not to specify too much about specific companies, etc. So you can kind of imagine what your company would be here. A US pharmaceutical company would be like Pfizer, for example. A European pharmaceutical company would be like Novartis, for example. Here's your title, the location, the from and to date. A lot of people make the mistake of omitting the months, and it only leaves the question of, are you hiding something? Is there a gap? Because what HR wants to see and hiring managers too, is continuity. So no gaps between work experiences is going to be seamless. If there is, then put it in there, list it accurately, of course, and just consult with your recruiter or headhunter about how to tell that story effectively. Okay, so next we have 3 bullet points here. You can have more, but I recommend 3. That should be sufficient. Starting with verbs. So the current company should have present tense verbs like spearheading or managing, and the past company should have past tense verbs like directed, implemented. And then what you want to do here is to include concrete details. So if there's a certain product line that you're working with, or in the case of healthcare companies, therapeutic areas, then you want to list that, because those are key skills, relevant skills that they're going to be looking for if that's relevant to your line of work. And also to specify results. So a mistake a lot of people make is using vague words like significantly increased or achieved outstanding improvement. That is not meaningful. What they want to see, what we want to see, is a percentage increase or some sort of quantifiable achievement, which gives impact to whatever that achievement is. And a time frame is another way to do that. So like achieves, X percentage of increase within X time frame or ahead of goal by such and such amount of time. So having this specificity really gives weight and impact and credibility, and the numbers really can speak for themselves in terms of your achievements in the role. Managing a team, do note, if you're managing full-time employees, do note the number of those employees and their function, such as if they're a brand manager or sales reps, etc., as well as the number of direct reports, because this is going to help the HR, recruiter, hiring manager to benchmark you as to where you are in the organization and how many people you're capable of managing. Someone managing, say, 3 direct staff level reports is not going to be qualified for managing 3 director level reports who then manage, let's say, 70 people between them. That's a total of 73 people. That's a very, very different job. And that's not something that you want either. That's too far from what you're doing. So that's not going to be a healthy level of career progression unless there's something exceptional about you, which could be the case. And in which case I'd encourage you to book a consultation with us so that we can coach you through how to navigate that kind of learning curve and those changes, because that means that someone's seeing a lot of potential in you and you're being fast-tracked into a role, and you certainly want to hedge those risks and ensure your long-term success. Do mention about if you're someone managing products or managing different parts of a business phase or a project, do mention about the life cycle stage of that project or that business, because it can really speak volumes as to your context and the level of impact you're having on the business or product itself. So, for example, a product that has just been launched, that you've launched, is a very strategic new type of launch, whereas a product that, let's say, is going off patent or nearing the end of its patent exclusivity, it's losing exclusivity, that's much more numbers driven, like how to optimize every bit of profit from the market before generics or competitors come into the space. Very, very different. So tune into these kinds of things, and those are also the kinds of things that seeking a mentor or a guide can help you to be aware of, that are significant about your skills and experiences, and showcasing that is only going to help you attract the best opportunities that are going to be a good balance of new, but also familiarity for you, so that you can continue to thrive in your career. So moving on here, you can see that each company is 3 or so bullet points. The earlier company on here, which is, it's thinner. Don't look too much into this. I've kept this to 1 page. It's okay to go to 2 pages or even a little bit beyond. I wouldn't recommend any more than 3 pages at all. Do try to keep it simple and concise so it's clear and it's very easy for the reader to kind of scan through this and just pick up on a few things, because guess what? If it's an open position, they almost certainly have of course, you wouldn't want to go to someone at your current company because this is very private, but a friend who has left your company to go to another company might be able to shed some insight for you there. So download the template, get started on yours today, and don't forget to check off the do's and don'ts in the template provided so that you can ensure that there has been nothing left behind, and that by the time your CV reaches a recruiter, headhunter, HR, talent acquisition, hiring manager, president, it's squeaky clean. And that is going to make your CV really speak as someone who takes their professionalism seriously, who respects other people's time, and who has clear aspiration for the long-term career, which makes you a leader regardless of the level that you're at.